What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 11 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Isidbar Grimtideson, Hellbeard, who admittedly hasn't done much, Immortal Empires campaign. Hello. Fell Cargo is probably a battle. Anyway, so as we saw last time, the mighty city of Itza has fallen beneath the tide of, well, laborers and the Chaos Dwarfs commanding them. The city will soon be turned into a set of billowing smokestacks and a center for our armies to cut down the jungles. Although I think we probably will want to take down the sacred pools. This is going to be something of an issue. That's a heck of an army. Oh, the Fire Leech Bolas in particular are going to be very irritating. Obviously, the Blessed Temple Guard. What do we have here? Oh wow, that is a concerning number of swords. But anyway, we'll deal with that when the time comes. We are once again still at war with Mr. Arcan the Black, and with this massive undefended border, most likely we'll eventually lose a territory or two. In the meantime, though, we will start this episode off with a smaller attack on the Chamber of Visions, as we are working to destroy the Mask of Slaanesh before they can recover, so that we can then assault the Skaven from hopefully several directions at once, while also making sure not to allow the Lizardmen of Tehenowan's faction get to, Cult of Sotek, that's the one, get too powerful. Anyway, let's do this one real quick. I don't imagine it'll be too much of a problem. Go. Alrighty, here we go. Starting off quick and easy once again against the Slaaneshi, but, well, we can't afford the losses from the Harder Resolve, so we gotta clear these guys out. Fortunately, with us attacking them, they can't actually take advantage of their sort of hard-hitting, fast-moving line to kill off a bunch of our laborers, and luckily the Sorcerer Prophet of Fire, Ukani here, now has a Bale Taurus, or actually a Great Taurus, I think, so he is not going to be susceptible to, you know, being overrun and killed off before the battle starts, or at the very least being forced to withdraw. Anyway, as our main army makes their way onto the battlefield, it's time to start the fight. The most annoying elements of the enemy army are going to be their fastest of fast movers, which I say because, well, basically the entire enemy army is fast movers. But anyway, the enemy Hellstriders. So we're going to just summon the unit of Kadai Fireborn on top of them immediately. The Kadai will get torn apart, partly by them and partly by our own arrow fire, but it will hopefully allow us to quickly clear out most of the Hellstriders without the rest of the enemy army yet close enough to annoy our units of Wolf Raiders. Granted, maybe I should have summoned the Kadai more behind the enemy units so that it would not be, well, so that they wouldn't block so much fire, but at the same time they do have fire resistance, so they should be okay. Well, reasonably okay. I mean, they're not okay because they're down below half HP, but you know what I mean. I know what I mean. Anyway, the Kadai continue to hold, but it looks like the enemy army is now annoyed and moving towards us, so we're going to have to split our fire into some of the devoted marauders of Slaanesh. With spears, they do have bronze shields, but they're only bronze shields, and with only 25 armor, and the Wolf Raiders should be able to pincushion them pretty decently well, especially before any other elements of the enemy army arrive. And the more damage we deal like this, the easier it will be for the rest of our army. Not that this is a hard battle, by any means, considering the kind of battles that this army has been fighting since the start. Ooh, it does look like the enemy Herald of Slaanesh will hit our, was that a Melkoth's? Yeah, hit one of our Wolf Raiders with a Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma to slow them down and damage them pretty severely, as Melkoth's is a great damaging spell in an SFO for a single target for its cost. Actually like it considerably better than most, not all, but I mean, not Blue Fires of Tzeentch maybe, but most other magical missiles, just due to its reliability. But anyway, the Allurus will try to stop her in her tracks by distracting with the summoned Cutthroats, but it looks like she doesn't go for it, but that's alright. Gordas heads on in, activates his abilities, and we're going to help him out by dropping down with the Lamasu, removing magical damage from the enemy Allurus, and by the looks of it, bringing her down. Not quite on cue. Someday. Alright, come on now. Gotta be in banishment now. One more hit by the looks of it, and there we go. Without the Illuris falls, there is still a little bit of fight to be fought, however. Our artillery is firing upon, or doing its best to fire upon, the spawn of Slaanesh, that unit of devoted Marauders of Spears, or perhaps another unit of Marauders of Spears, I'm not entirely sure, has still taken arrows to the face, while the rest of the enemy moves on up. Some of those units of spawn take a few daggers to the face from our units. And just as they charge on forth, we give them the Cascading Fire Cloak to buff up their melee defenses. Although it looks like this unit of spawn is pretty much done for, we'll just in case send a unit of laborers towards them to allow the precursor weapons from our sneaky gits to still fly. After all, we don't care about the laborer losses, but the sneaky gits should maintain their HP as best as they possibly can. We distract a unit of spawn of Slaanesh as well with our lure, just to lock him in place briefly. And ooh, Gordas got trapped there as well. My bad, little guy. I'm gonna try to get back him out of there as we bring down the last of the spawn. Perhaps unnecessarily damaging Gordas, but he should heal up over the end turn. I wonder if we can get him some kind of healing item. He has 2 items as his unique items, but the other 2, one might be, potential healing slot. Anyway, there we go with that. Little army breaks and the battle is ours, no problem, and most of our units are preserved, other than some laborers, and actually, this unit that took the Melkoths did not lose too many models, did it? I'm pretty sure, because Melkoths, 9 models lost, but that's just fine. Melkoths spread its damage out over the entire model, or rather the entire unit. I take it over the entire unit rather than any individual models, which means high damage to the unit, but low damage to the individual models. Low losses, and that means near full recovery post-fight. Alrighty, there we go. Quick little fight. Decent little bit of labor in reward as well. Our casualties very, very minimal in our main army, which was the main thing in case these guys do have another army running around. I believe we were going to make this entire territory into an outpost pile of territories, unless I'm mistaken. And you can delete the... well... actually, wait, you want to keep the Hobgob Bivouac in case this little army attacks it? Maybe you do. Alright, fair enough. And Potion of Strength. Great, but, not so great. In the sense that we'll probably turn it into something else eventually. You can immediately go for the Strip Mine, as we will need to make use of that. War Banner, great finds on these always, but obviously we want those on War Machines. Ooh, Banner of Swiftness, also very nice. I don't care for the Sword of Might. We'll turn that into something better, hopefully. Alright, can't do anything about Kurgan Tamer. The name Karn and that Slaaneshi faction just, I don't know. It's not working for me. Anyway, we want to rush the construction here for more raw materials. It's only 100 extra, but, every little bit counts. Frankly, with the public order in the way that it is, we may actually want to build up and rush the Blood Hall here. Just for the public order building, if nothing else. I mean, I guess we wouldn't be able to build the public order building immediately anyway, so we could rush this next turn. Alright, so let's build that up, and... oh, we'll actually need to immediately transfer some here. Some public order stuff. Alright, fine, fair enough. Oh, you know what? We could rush these for the little extra bit of cash. It's not much, but... well, I don't know if it's worth it. Oh, actually, you know what we could do? We could sell some off, because we have a lot of extra labor right now. It won't be extra forever. Let's go for sell labor. We'll go for... yeah, we can sell some labor here. Just looking at anything that's absolutely horrific in terms of the public order. This is not great at River Curveza, but I think we already have the public order thing. Actually, we don't. I don't see events. Huh. Wait, did I just sell off at River Curveza? I did, didn't I? Or wait, or was it here? Man, okay, wait. Up here. Wait, no, I did that the wrong way. Cancel, my bad. Alright, River Curveza. We lose from... actually, let's lose from here and put it in River Curveza, like so. And, okay, yeah, we need to set an example. There we go. These two, however, can sell off. Alrighty, and we will also want to make sure we transfer a little bit to here from the places with the lower public order, so that's going to be you and you, to here. Huh. Okay, did I do it wrong again, or is this thing just being buggy? I mean, possibly both. You will... Huh. Amazonia, you are public order. Could we sell some off at Amazonia? We could, but by transferring it to Amazonia, which doesn't really work for me. All right, fine. Let us do minus, minus, plus, plus, except... Good, all right. Again, I don't really know why the UI got so buggy all of a sudden, but anyway, if we can get a 3 outpost territory here and upgrade it to full, that'll hopefully fund our war, or soon upcoming major war effort against the followers of Nagash, though I am a little jumping ahead of myself because we still have all this to deal with. But anyway, you guys are good for now. Hopefully Lord Shalot will not take the opportunity to attack us, though if he does, I would respect it. Yeah, I'd like to get these guys to support, but I think it'll take too long for them to get here. And what's your strength at again? Strength rank 33. Okay, so Tehenuan is actually doing pretty well, but I'd like him to keep fighting the rats and not attacking us. That would be swell. And otherwise, let's see if there's anything else that we can rush or build with money. We could upgrade you for the control. This place's control is kind of iffy. Yeah, you know what, let's upgrade you, or build you up at the very least. These all need to be upgraded, but they are the raw materials types. We will also want to upgrade these two. Grand Manufactory for the Death Shriekers, and obviously the Ashel. Yeah, alright, fine. Let's build these up. I want Fire Glaives up and running for the fight against the Tomb Kings, and I think we probably won't be able to afford anything else. We'll do a little bit of public order out of the Watchtower. It's not very expensive. Let's do that. And then I guess hold off until we can get more upgrades for more of our trade good territories, or not trade good, raw material territories, because we can't get money or more money until we get more raw materials. I guess in theory we could upgrade Quetzal, though the position that it's in is kind of iffy. You know what, let's upgrade it for now, and hopefully I don't come to regret it. Is this a Skaven Plague? No, it's a Nurgle Plague. Huh. Wait, where'd the Nurgle Plague come from? Odd. No, actually, where did the Nurgle Plague come from? I see no Nurglite corruption. Why do you have a random Nurgle Plague? Not that I'm complaining, mind you, I just find it a little bit strange. Oh well. Let's end the turn then, like so. And see what happens. No, okay. I was wondering if that was a Tomb King army spotted off our coast, but it doesn't look like it as yet. Though things are bound to change. Pizza is also probably still moving, as they do most likely have a new stack coming in, so we will have to be wary of them attacking us from the south and probably split our armies off preemptively. In fact, if we have a little bit of money, maybe now is the time to build a couple of Bull Centaur renders for Mr. Izdubar, as we will want to maybe split him off soon. In fact, probably no maybe about it. Tower of Jarnlock 3, Tier 3. Beautiful, that's what I was waiting for. Yeah, you claim that seed, buddy, you claim that seed. Alright, there's that recruitment cost reduction, and we're immediately going into the Tower of Jar and picking up the... I'm gonna say start with Procurator. The instruction bonus is nice. Also, which seat did you grab? You grabbed the Wrath of Jar seat, or this one? Actually, if we want to grab Flame and Shadow, we can still do that. Yeah, we're going for this. We want the construction cost reduction. It's not going to be all that much yet, because we will get 2, 4, 6. Yeah, we'll get 6. Actually, if it counts, this one will be 8, I guess? I don't know. Anyway, do this claim seat, and we'll grab this seat immediately after for the extra raw materials and for the bonus control out of the industry district. Alrighty, just need more of that conclave influence. Next up, I see that Karn Kurgan Tamer has withdrawn to the Golden Ziggurat, but unfortunately for him, we are able to actually reach it. I don't see an army here, so we should be able to punish them by hitting the Great Turtle Isle as well. I'd be... it's not gonna let us auto-resolve anything, is it? But that's just the nature of this army, I suppose. Are you really not able to reinforce? Huh, go figure. Okay, fine, you're gonna have to march stance. I mean, I guess we don't really care if the laborers are tired. Oh no, the laborers are tired. Whatever will we do? Yeah, you guys go here. Alrighty, and I'm just gonna hope that these guys don't immediately attack to retake the Chamber of Visions, as, well, that would be quite the annoyance. Still the little laborers dying. Alright, we'll fight that mini battle in a second. Let's see what else we have going for us, however. Alright, we need to be very careful about the way that we approach this. I see no new stack from these guys, but we will still want to double check Hamre. Followers of Nagash? No. What about the Bretonnians?
I find you.
Okay, they're up here somewhere. Bretonia, Chevalier de Lyonnaise, we will go for join war against Followers of Nagash, minus 6.3, Exiles of Corn 3.0, but you still won't do it for 7.8k. Oh, it's so close though. Alright, well, we'll just have to keep an eye on you and hopefully we can make it happen. It's probably, in fact, no probably about it, by virtue of the fact that they hate us. Starman doesn't hate us, funnily enough. Alright, well, not much we can do about it. Alright, first of all, Lord check. Nope, no new Lord that we need. Oh, also Hero check. Infernal Castellan, we should get a new one up and running shortly. The Callous ones are pretty okay. Lots of decent buffs on you. Materialistic is also... I do like that massive increase to post-battle chance of stealing. Huh. Now, this might be a good one for a sniper one. I was intending to make one that's a sniper. I still don't think it'll do too much damage, but just for the, you know, just for the difference. Nonetheless, if we're looking to get Fire Glaives and Infernal Guard in general, we will want another of the unethical type for the upkeep reduction to Infernal Guard, because they're stupidly expensive. And, oh, it's just Infernal Guard, it doesn't include Ironsworn. Okay, fair enough. I'll have to keep that in mind. Alrighty, so you guys, I would like you to position yourselves outside the Sacred Pools. You're gonna go into encamps. Actually, encamp stance won't heal the Sky Lantern to full, so you are going to channel instead outside the Sacred Pools. I don't even know if we can win that fight, but we sure as heck are going there anyway. It's too late to back out now. And then Kigal Baruk, you're going there as well, and you will also channel. If you're wondering why I'm making all these little lords channel, it's because if these guys decide to sally out and attack us, we should take advantage of that. Also, I guess another question is going to be whether we want to attack the place or whether we want a field battle. Because if it's a magical forest, well, obviously this won't work. They will have the bonus defensive supplies, and we'll get that Holy Stella, which might be a little bit irritating. But the Lizardmen won't be quite as strong on the defense in a magical forest, I think, as a field battle, but we'll see. Anyway, we need to actually keep our armaments, so I guess we'll forego martial training for now. We should probably look into grabbing Hollow Rounds soon, and frankly, the Hobgob Quartermasters are a decent power-up for all the Gob units, but 7 turns is a lot to go through, whereas we can go all the way through to Conclave Influence to get that Tower Settlement bonus in 15 turns, which is half the time. And we could also split off to grab Hashut Reverence for the Temples of Hashut, as we will also want to build our first temple within maybe the next 10 or 15 turns. The other option would be to get the construction cost reduction for factories, which is also great, but it would mean going up this line. I don't really care so much about the construction cost for ports, although the income from refineries and the armaments output isn't so bad. And then there's, of course, the unilateral agreements, which will buff up our trade concept, rather. And that is great, but we aren't doing a lot of trade, as we don't have a lot of allies. Because, well, we can't ally with Chaos, and we have limited agreements. They're all reasonable options. I'm going to say start with Ruinous negotiations in order to go to Conclave Dominance, but I will think about it. Yeah. Alright, you stay there for now. Oh, you know what? For this fight, maybe we'll want to grab the Immortals, the Infernal Ironsworn, cut down some of those lizards. We'll need something to be able to deal with the Temple Guard. Alrighty, anyway, we got the raw materials, and we'll probably need to spend some of them. The question is where. This is money that we can't afford right now unless we sell off more labor. We do still have double the amount of labor that we need, which is still pretty decent. The Turtle Isles are also unhappy, so we'll need to transfer some labor to them. So we'll do this to the Turtle Isles, like so. And we'll immediately pop off that set an example. Frankly, because of the minus 5% labor loss per turn for all provinces, it's probably a good idea to use sacrifices to Jarnagrund at least once every turn, because the loss per turn will be... this will mitigate the loss per turn anyway. It's not free, but it is probably close to it. Therefore, yeah, we'll go for sacrifices to Jarnagrund. Like so. Let's say all provinces. Then, this place is okay. This is -1, +11. -11 is not great, but we are still positive. Therefore, we are able to, I think, sell off from here and here to get a little bit of that cash back, and then hold off otherwise. How are our convoys doing? 7 turns and 4 turns, so a fair bit, but we will have a nice influx of labor soon. I have been meaning to get more money so we could go all the way for the gold refinery and upgrade the port. Oh, I was just talking about that port thing, wasn't I? 3 turns for the harbor guilds, eh? And it is saving on raw materials, though admittedly they're not that expensive. Oh, actually, that reminds me. This pottery thing makes all buildings in this particular location quite a bit cheaper, so we might actually want to invest in upgrading this particular production plant in order to make use of the higher level pottery. It's a pretty significant bunch of reductions. In fact, this would be a rather cheap Tower of Hashut thanks to all that. Yeah, alright, I think we'll want to prioritize that. Otherwise, there's probably a couple of cheap buildings we could do like this, like the tribute collectors, in several of our capitals, in order to just make a little bit of extra cash, like so. And that's about as good as it's getting until we get more raw materials flowing out of the various locations. Can we, you know what, we can probably afford to upgrade you and then upgrade you afterwards. You will also desperately need to set an example. There we go. Actually, wait. You will also need to re-up your piles of labor, so down from you and up to you. Accept. And hey, it even worked. Go figure. Alrighty. And you're at -202 still. Oh, good lord. Okay, so we'll need to actually transfer more. Another one. Like so. That's Jungles of Green Mist for you. Yeah, we're gonna need the public order building. You know what? Delete the Fane Guard. We will prioritize the public order building instead. I'm almost even tempted to rush construction here. Ah, no, because we're losing 2. Yeah, alright, fine, fair enough. Alrighty, this battle real quick. Well, I was about to say I'm not gonna bother leveling, but I lied. We're going to level Gordas just because he'll max out shoot him. And we'll finally be able to get the need stabbing soon. Because they do need stabbing. I mean, it's just a fact of life. Go. Alrighty, here we go. We've got another one of these fights against the Slaneshi and more fast movers moving in towards us as usual. We do have a pretty nice position on top of a hill, however, and shouldn't have any problem. Yeah, it's a smaller fight once again, but not to worry. We'll have, well, let's just say we'll have some pretty big fights coming in this particular episode. And more importantly, this particular army needs a little bit of a break. They still have PTSD from their near loss against the Mask of Slaanesh, well, a couple of episodes ago. Anyway, the enemies are heading up that hill now, and we'll have to weather the storm of fiery arrows and daggers to the face. First of the units of Demonettes melts away as they move, and the second unit, together with the Fiends of Slaanesh, gets stopped in their place by the Tormentor's Sword. Not what I was originally going to put into this army, but actually does work quite well. Unfortunately, our Burgar Startaker, our Demon Smith is very fragile as he loses about 30% of his HP from a few seconds of being attacked by Furies, which is kind of surprising considering their stats in terms of attack aren't all that high, but I guess there's just enough of the models to annoy our unit like that, surround them, and enough of them are hitting to do the damage. Go figure. But all good. Anyway, the balance power shifts about 90% in our favor. Obviously, most of the enemy melted away under range and dagger fire as they ran towards us on the right flank, and on the left flank, some did make their way through, rather. So we're just going to have to cut them down the old-fashioned way, which we're in the process of doing. Like so, the demonettes will melt, the last of the fiends of Slaanesh will melt, and with that, the enemy shatters, and this very quick little fight is ours, long before the laborers arrive on the battlefield. Alrighty, there we go. A very nice little fight. Certainly a very quick little fight, but nonetheless, I did get a little bit lazy not bothering to wait for the giant pile of laborers, but the damage that we took, I think, will just will be healed up over the course of the turn, or the end turn, rather. Occupy's outpost, and please keep the mine. Yes, we got to keep the mine. Perfection. Accept new labor, and we'll immediately need to send, let's say, 700-ish plus the public order. Oh, we already did the public order. Send about 700-ish to this place. All right, fair enough. And a free talisman of endurance. Asp bow, also nice. I lose those. We'll actually put that to use, I think. Dawnstone, no. Let's rack up a couple more items and we'll transfer them. Alrighty. Otherwise, I imagine that you will not be able to cross and attack this place immediately next turn. We could risk you. Can you cross? No, you can't cross. And you can't cross either? Doesn't look like it. Probably won't be able to reach a place in one turn. Yeah, we could march stance, grab that remnants of battle, and then march stance back into these guys. There is potential for that as well. Anyway, you will upgrade the money pit. Then we will go for, what was it, 700 I said? I think I said 700. To the Turtle Isles. Alright, 1, 2, 3. 4, 5. 6, 7 to the Turtle Isles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alrighty, now our labor is in much more dire straits, so we are going to have to be careful about overusing it. We still have a decent little extra bit of the Zarmuta Triangle that we've been keeping, but, you know, still gotta be careful. Ooh, Hordas! They need stabbing at long last. That's a nice little debuff for when you actually are trying to, well, you know, backstab a lord. As you should be. Ew. We have Fervent Fodder. We could either grab Bloodied Bombardment. Wait, no, that doesn't help us here. Standard Bloodied Bombardment does not help us. Oh, actually it does. I didn't see the Hobgoblin Bolt Throwers there. Alright, well, we'll get them. Oh, I am kind of interested in seeing what kind of heights you can take the Hobgoblin Bolt Throwers. I might even put them into some 30 charge on them. It's kind of funny. I'd say just imagine this thing slowly charging at you, but 52 speed is, for an artillery piece, very, very nice. Oh, I can't wait to get the Goblin Hewers out of our Dwarf ally. Oh, that'll be very nice with several army concepts. Okay, but anyway, and digress, you two probably won't be able to reinforce, but we'll give it a shot. One of you, I think, can, and the second one will not be able to travel far enough. But we shall see. Alright, move on in. Armaments and such is fine. I think there was somewhere else where I said we no longer needed the Fane Guard. Chakwa is still okay. Well, actually, Chakwa, you can lose this, and I guess lose the Ash level as well. Oh, we have uses for you. Alright, Wallatal, I did... Oh, right, I was gonna say we need the donation barrel, and we need the public order thing at the Blood Hall, but we will do that next turn. Gotta try to remember it. Otherwise, I believe we're good. I hope so, anyway. Skip, 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 and end the turn. I am so curious to see whether Lord Schlotk will decide to move towards us. He's gotta know that we're coming for him. One of the... Oh, right, the Eatson... Eatsa's still alive, I gotta remember that. The full stack of theirs will appear soon. Probably sooner rather than later. They have a territory in the midst of the Cult of Sotek territories, even if they can't build their elites quite as much as they used to. Looks like the Slaaneshi want peace, but that ain't happening. And I don't know where Lord Schlotka's in the order, but I imagine that we passed him. Alright, good. And what was that? Wait. Power overwhelming, destroy... See, if power overwhelming was for all armies, I might consider destroying a blunderbuss, but why would we do this? Ignore it. Masters of Innovation destroyed? Oh, wow, I was not expecting that. They were doing so well, they had nearly pushed the disciples of Hashut to the brink of destruction, only to falter at the end. Similarly, Overlords of Jarduk have been destroyed. Exiles of Khorne destroyed. Okay, good. Wargrove of Woe destroyed. What the heck is happening? While we've been in Lustria, the rest of the world is in complete chaos. Alrighty, Confederation. Hello. Lifebane Blade. This is good. This is very, very good. Alright. And I don't know who we will give this to yet, but it is very, very good. Next, Khemri. Join war against the followers of Nagash. Minus 22 still. Dude, why? Come on. Why you no befriend? Where we got Bretonia. You. Join war against followers of Nagash?
Yet here you are all the same.
402. Do it. I don't care if you die, I just want you to bother them. Who else hates the followers of Nagash that's nearby? Well, a lot of factions. Unfortunately, we can't see them from here. Actually, you know what? Let's also take a look at missions and diplomacy. Ally missions, Chant Gurlus. Let's do you. And then we will... We got trade agreements with nobody we like. We got Feastmaster, probably gonna die soon. Goldtooth, would you please ally with us? Why don't you do defensive alliance? I want your units, damn you. Alrighty, well, no dice as yet. Next up, I wanted to see whether one of you could reach the Great Turtle Island. When bound, you cannot. Therefore, we... Oh, this isn't a port, so we can't go for the Remnants of Battle anyway. Wow, you really can't travel far like this, can you? Go figure. I like this. Alrighty, and then you two go into channeling stance right beside him, I guess, or stay in channeling. You can actually... I was gonna say you can actually raid, but it looks like you cannot. Yeah, what the heck? Weird. I don't know. Not a big deal, mind. And what do we have in terms of defenses of the Great Turtle Isle? Not all that much. Aha, the Clan Pestilence have built their defenses there. I'd grab the Mysterious Island, but I think we'll want to head down to their other territories as fast as we can. Really don't want them to recover. Next up, our efficiency has dropped. Alright, so where... River Curveza. What's happening in River Curveza? Where is River Curveza? It's down here, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, the mine got completed and it wasn't complete before. Yeah, fair enough. I guess we could start with the public order building here rather than the money building. We're gonna need it. Like so. And actually, speaking of public order buildings, the Blood Hall will need one. Patrol routes, please. We'll hold off on upgrading you, however. And I think we need to save the labor now so we won't rush it. Wallatal, you can get the cheap donation barrel, and we can start, in theory, building stuff at Chakwa, but we hold off on a little bit. Also increase raw material output via this factory. We could actually make a factory in one of these territories in order to increase the output from here. We could do that as Sentinels of Shati. Potentially. What do you do? Raw materials, 500 per turn for workload. Pretty efficient. And the factory... Yeah, okay, this is going to be a good place to build a factory at the Sentinels. Actually, I probably should have done that at the Chamber of Visions, but actually no, because we'll need all 3 slots. Okay, yeah, that's fine, that's fine. The plan is proceeding. You will need to be built up, but we cannot yet afford you. Soon. How about our main territory? Okay, we do have some stuff, but I think nothing of it is critical. Alright, let's up that efficiency then. Down. And we have... Ooh. Not as much extra as we used to, admittedly. Okay. Now we're really gonna need to be careful. Mosquito Swamp, so you're going to have to lose your extra. And so are you, Zarmuda. Alright, then we'll need to up the efficiency like this, because it'll also lose points over the next turn. I'll do that. Like so. Then we have... not enough extra. We need to put at least 2 into here. Maybe it went a little bit, sold off a little bit much, didn't I? Oh well. Hopefully not a big deal. We can overcome it. We just gotta wait for the convoys to come in, and the influx will counteract it all. Alright, do this. Good enough for now. Efficiency is there, our raw materials are flowing in. We will take Great Turtle Isles and then make this into a nice raw material location in order to push the other locations while we head southward and get ready to revive the spine of Sotek dwarfs. Otherwise, we are looking to probably pick up a decent pile of labor from here. Oh, actually, now that I think about it... do we not get more labor from fighting this as a field battle first, and then taking the actual location? I think we do. So in that light... Okay, how we want to draw them out of the location, meaning... You will move here. Right. Can you reach this guy? You can. Alright, so I would like you, Pigal Baruch, go here, and take one of these gob laborers. I would like you then to move into these guys' territory, like so. I would like you to... I'm going to hope that we can make enough money back from this. But it's going to be a very tough fight, so we need to do this. You're going to do this. Then we are going to have Scaff Growlsh. Oh, you know what? I'm just realizing something. Scaff Growlsh, you're probably the better commander of these guys because of the +4/+4. On the other hand, that guy gives you 10 armor. Honestly, it doesn't really matter over much. Alright, you guys, or you guy, go here. Go here. Are you still able to reach this guy? Yes. You. Raid the gob laborers to increase their stats by +4/+4. Then you are going to... Wait. You are going to go right here and enter this army. Oh, are you just out of range or are you just in range? I can't quite tell. Guess we're about to find out. But we're not waiting the turn. Oh, just out of range. Unfortunate. Oh well, not a big deal. At least I hope. I probably could have moved you a little bit out there, but it's too late now. Well, you guys go here. Okay, and go... Okay, I can't actually... Ugh, game, please. You need to be in range of this guy. That's the main thing. Now, are you able to go here? I can't quite tell. Alright, so you are at war with nobody, but that's about to change. You declare war. Don't call allies to help. Yeah, don't call allies to help, but they'll be dead in one turn anyway, and I'm not risking it. We don't gain enough from this. Then, I presume that you can attack this guy with the main army reinforcing. Now, we will want to get some points in here. The question is which ones. Kind of tempted by the careful casting. Physical resistance is very nice, don't get me wrong, but these guys will never really be fighters. They're just too fragile. At the very least, not mainline fighters. Even on the Baal Taurus or on the Lamasu. So maybe the careful casting is just a better way to go. Otherwise, the Sorcerer Prophets don't make for good lords anyway compared to the Overseers, so let's just do that. You can get, I think, earthing. Well, you know what? Maybe we want to be able to overcast Transmutation of Lead. It's a fairly nasty debuff. Flow of Battle. The vigor reduction from that is the worthwhile thing here, and then you can have piercing shots. Don't really care about Infernal Death Mask. At least not yet. Alright, what about the rest of you? We may as well level everybody because this is going to be a heck of a battle. Honestly, there isn't too much to get from you. Armor for you, and then Root Marcher, I guess, because you'll want to get Tyrant or Tyrannical or whatever it is. You, sir. Let's get you Gehennas. In case we need somebody else to cast it other than the main guy, in case he dies or something. You, just for emergencies. You get Gehennas as well. Pretty nice Vortex after all, and I believe that's it. Alright, here we go. Conscript. Whoa, that guy moved fast. Do we want this on anybody? This is base weapon damage. These guys, I presume, have low armor piercing weapon damage, right? Yeah, base weapon damage is high, otherwise it's low. So we'll put it on you. I take it your weapon damage 30, 20. Yeah, we'll keep it on the Blazing Beards of Bajorak. And I think that... Oh, good lord, that's a lot of enemies. Yeah, this is iffy. This is tremendously iffy. I don't know if this was a good idea. Wait, one... We're missing a lord. Higel Barak is here, Scaff Growlish is here, the other guy's not here. Oh well. Fight. Try not to die. Exactly, my friend, exactly. Anyway, here we go. This is definitely going to be an iffy one. Obviously, the enemy has a much better army than we do, and not only do they have a much better army than we do, but they actually outnumber us on top of that. They've got a half stack of blessed units. They got a Slan leading, together with some dinos, Kroxigors, Temple Guard, bunch of stuff, basically. In fact, their army is so significantly better than ours in terms of tier. We're going to approach this rather carefully, or at the very least rather more carefully than I usually approach these battles. In light of that, this little army waiting outside of the enemy settlement is actually going to serve our purposes in the form of these units displacing more elite units from the enemy reinforcements. So what we're going to do here is try to damage all of these units very heavily, but not have them shatter, so we won't be chasing them off the battlefield, and just forcing them to rout maybe once or twice and then backing off rather than finishing them off, like for example this red-crested skink chief. Now the reason being that since the enemy has more than 40 units on the map, the longer it takes some of the last units to get onto the battlefield, like for example that Reviv crystal or those Kroxigors or those Razor Dawns, the better. And we are otherwise set up over on this side of the map in a pretty darn wide battle line, frankly across about half of the entire map space, but we need to be close enough to the reinforcements to allow our giant pile of laborers to move in front of our main line, A, and B, since there is a big old forest where the enemy is making their way onto the battlefield, we needed the magma cannons to be able to fire through the limited sort of clear firing lanes, or this little road, in order to keep damaging the units. Anyway, our single entities, by and large, are continuing their fight. The two Skullcrackers, the Bull Centaur Torque, the Demon Smith, and the Sorcerer Prophet. Still damaging all the little units outside of this particular army, and frankly, they're not too badly positioned here either way to block the enemy off if the enemy tries any flanking maneuvers, as they have brought a ton of Cold One Spear Riders and Feral Cold Ones to the fray here, and just generally just a ridiculous amount of units. Alright, well, the magma cannons draw into range, and our goblin laborers make their way forward, hopefully to get onto the battlefield and block the enemy off just as they start reaching our battle lines. We also move in our war drum in preparation for the arrival of the enemy, and the sky lanterns to cover overhead provide the additional accuracy, both to the magma cannons and perhaps more importantly, equally importantly, the blunderbusses. Effectively, we have 6 units that are going to be able to deal damage to the enemy here, and they need to be operational for as long as they can. So the job of every single other unit is to block the enemy off and allow those range units to do damage. Looks like the fight on the left flank yet continues as the Feral Cold Ones mill around and are about to be joined by more Feral Cold Ones. And looks like some of these units have come back and are, firing away at our Skullcracker with those javelins, which is rather dangerous as this thing's down below half HP, and we're going to have to withdraw it for a nice reforging from one of our Demon Smiths. Alright, yeah, the enemy's going to pop up that Holy Stella on us and debuff our blunderbusses fairly considerably in terms of their accuracy and missile damage, but they will continue firing away at the enemy Fire Leech bolas that have arrived on the battlefield. And as these things will clear us out rather quickly, or clear our laborers out extremely quickly, we got to bring them down. And the enemy will also pop off a burning alignment to kill off instantly. I think they just completely instantly wiped out one unit of goblin laborers, but that's one of the other, once again, nice things about... Really, magma cannons? I just saw 3 of your shots smack into this one little tree. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Oh, that's annoying, but what can you do? What can you do? I forgot what I was saying because that was so distracting, but anyway. We continue firing upon the Fire Leech bolas. Damn that frickin' tree. I can't believe trees are not destructible. And the battle begins in earnest. We still have several lines of goblin laborers to sort of hold the enemy off, plus the staggering fire of the blunderbusses. The enemy slan also uses the dwellers below to clear out one or two more of the laborers, but once again we do still have several where that came from. The big targets here are going to be the enemy's own big damage dealers rather than the line holders, so it's the ancient steg or the dinos in general, and the Kroxigors as well. Also, I just gotta say, I love the color scheme of the Wardens of the Emerald Pools, or Living Pools, whatever it is. I think it works very nicely. Especially with the dino sort of painted in the same way that the skinks are. It looks pretty great. Anyway, looks like the Ancient Steg smartly moves towards the Jangu War Drum, and that's not so great for us. But fortunately, the Ancient Steg is pretty severely damaged, so only shaken as it drops below 20% of the HP, but it looks like the blunderbusses are putting in the work. Long last, the Feral Cold Ones that attempted to flank us have decided to give up over on the left flank, and most of the enemy units from that first army are now unfortunately shattered. Once again, unfortunately, as it has allowed 2 more units of Kroxigors and 2 more units of Razordons to make their way onto the battlefield. We can't have those Razordons firing away at us because they'll just bring down those Sky Lanterns in 2 volleys, as we saw the last episode in the Siege of Itza. Okay, magma cannons, maybe don't fire on the Sky Lanterns, but yeah, in order to block off those Razordons, we're going to summon the Kadai Fireborn on top of the units, and the Basti with Riva of Crystal, and frankly keeping the Basti out of the main battle line for as long as possible would be great as well, as it will A, immediately have to be our main target, and B, it will revive and heal up a bunch of the units, whether they're routing or fighting. An absolutely massive battle, and the balance power still remains in the enemy's favor. The enemy has now broken through to the final line of the goblin laborers and are starting to get closer and closer to our blunderbusses, which ain't so great. I do believe our chaos dwarf warriors of various kinds are also in the fight somewhere in there, though unfortunately it looks like the immortals are just about done. We just summoned them and they're at 10% of their HP, holding the biggest blob of enemies back. And unfortunately not routing because apparently they are unbreakable. Oh, and they get hit by the Dwellers Below too, but well, the Dwellers Below is a pretty obnoxiously strong spell and it was always going to wipe out whatever it hit. Anyway, all 3 blunderbusses immediately start targeting the Basti with Riva of Crystals as it draws into range, bringing it down by 70% of its HP. A Amber Spear comes in from our Infernal Castellan, and it looks like we force the Basti to shatter. The Skullcrackers, both with about 20% of their HP, make their way into the main line to try to distract the enemy. We also send our Bull Centaur Torok and our Sorcerer Prophet to move towards the enemy slan, just to bring him down so he can no longer cast his Ancient Mind and make the entire battle map unbreakable. As obviously we don't want that. Ooh, our Overseer, Scaff Growlish, nearly gets killed, and we send in some rallying units of laborers to try to block the enemy off that are still in the fight. And the balance of power has at long last shifted in our favor, but only by about 5%. There are still a ton of units fighting over on the right flank, with Saurus being supported by Feral Cold Ones. And Cold... Well, actually, this is just Spear Riders. I thought I saw Feral Cold Ones in here. Yeah, they're there too. What am I talking about? Anyway, Saurus, Cold Ones, and Saurus and Cold Ones. Yes. Anyway, they're still very much in the fight and being held up by one of the units of Chaos Dwarf Warriors, while Magma Cannon fire still continues raining down on the enemy. The Slan now being chased down by the 2 heroes sent to go after him. Enemy is also Temple Guard fighting off against, or fighting our Chaos Dwarf Warriors, who are fighting back to back, desperately holding the left flank. Our laborer numbers are pretty much completely depleted to this point, but frankly the Slan is nearly out, desperately calling for a unit of Kroxigors to come in and shield him from being torn to shreds by the Bull Centaur Render, or by the Bull Centaur, or by the Sorcerer Prophet. And more Kroxigors move in to try to help him out, but it looks like the Slan is attempting to make his escape. He does pop off Ancient Mind, and the entire army goes unbreakable and rallies as well, so some units are starting to return, but we force at least a few more to shatter, as the Skullcrackers are now on shatter duty, and just chase the enemies down, making sure that they can't come back. A desperate last few minutes of the fight that will decide who carries the day. Lots of our units are down to tiny amounts of HP. The War Drum and Scav down to 5%. Our Immortals having been destroyed, having fallen in battle in the very center of our line. Our heroes also pretty badly beat up. And it looks like the Slan will at long last shatter and teleport the heck out of there. And with him, I do believe his army gives up hope and the battle is ours. Ooh, absolutely magnificent fight. A desperate battle from pretty much the very beginning of the moment the enemy rushed towards us, and a very, very close call. We were so heavily damaged. If the enemy had managed to break through one more line of dwarf warriors, which they brought down to below half HP, and frankly a lot of our heroes and other single entities severely damaged, they would have reached our line of magma cannons and our blunderbusses, and considering they were the damage dealers, things like Kroxigors would have torn them to shreds. Absolutely magnificent fight. Oh. These are the kind of fights you play for. Anyway, I'm going to be riding this high for a while and talking about this fight for the rest of the campaign, most likely. Ooh, good lord, that was an extremely close victory, and interestingly, plenty of enemy units remain, but yeah, that was uncomfortably close, let's say. And unfortunately, I did screw up and lose the Immortals. Luckily, well, they're a regiment of renown, so they're dead, but they'll be back. But yeah, I didn't realize that they had Unbreakable, so I kind of left them in the middle of the line and with the expectation that they'd rout once taking sufficient damage, but they just fought to the last instead, which is perhaps unsurprising for a unit of Infernal Ironsworn, Slayer equivalent as they are, but anyway. They'll be back in 10 turns. I'm a little bit annoyed at myself because they cost 4,000 gold, but clearly they were needed for this battle, because it was a doozy. Good lord. Also, extremely impressed by the enemy Slan. 411 kills and 37,000 damage. Lots of spells being dropped on us, and 2 pretty great effectiveness, I might add. I'd love to heal, because we still have to take down the enemy main settlement with what we still have remaining. However, 948 labor, considering we just used all of our labor. Yeah, we can't say no to that, can we? Transport those captives. Whew. What a toughie. 36,000 damage. By the looks of it, on our best performing magma cannon. Similarly, 36,000 damage on the Skullcracker, but look at that. Twice as much damage dealt as gold value, because it was charging through Temple Guard and stuff. And then there was this Skullcracker, nearly 60,000 damage and 2,800 damage dealt as gold value. Absolutely magnificent, beating out everybody else by a pretty big margin. The Granite Guard and the other blunderbusses, however, had higher damage dealt as gold value, much lower kills, but these guys were focusing down Kroxigors, Pterodon Riders, Stegodon, Temple Guard, whatever elite units Kroxigors they could get their hands on. Whew. An absolutely magnificent fight, you gotta admit. Alrighty, now I'm hoping that we can still attack the place. The remnants of this little army will back away. We got a free power stone out of it, and ooh, a crown of command. Actually, you know what? For the upcoming battle, you could probably hold on to that. Now, did we only level up once? After all that, apparently, yeah, just the once. But oh well. As to what we want to take here for the fight... Metal shifting, I'm going to say earthing. This guy did miscast like 2 or 3 times, and he's severely damaged, and he's probably going to miscast again, if I know my miscasting. Living metal flesh, most definitely for ward save. You, sir. Not quite to extra powder, if only you had leveled up twice. Let's get to you. I don't really care about Bandolier. I don't see you running out of ammunition anytime. Ever. And you, sir. Of the fire spells, we primarily use Cascading Fire Cloak spam. The other spells are incidental, so none of this is really all that important in this particular situation. So I'm going to say keep holding on to the point. What about you? Okay, you're nearly dead, sir. Just got to be careful, but you can still grab Tyrant. And then you. Man, we really could have used the... let's see what I can do, please. We really could have used these two in that particular fight to bolster the line. Yeah. And again, another screw-up from me, because if we had parked one of these guys just back here, one of the Bull Centaurs, or the Bull Centaur Tauruks, would have been able to reach him. But oh well, what can you do? Also, can these guys take... Oh, I deleted the freaking defenses of Chakwa just... just as these guys came up. That's annoying, because we're going to have to do this. At least it's not that costly, but at least that will give us enough of a defense to deal with these guys. Anyway, the Sacred Pools. Pyrrhic Victory, round 2. Is this a magical forest? It is not. It's just a straight-up field battle once again. Alrighty. Well, they don't have the slam for magic this time. They do still have tons and tons of fast movers, and, well, both of our armies are pretty severely beat up. Let's take down the Wardens for good. Go. Alrighty, here we go. We're severely damaged, they're severely damaged, but the Wardens have proved themselves to be worthy foes over the course of this particular episode, and damn well have they earned our respect here. So, we are not going to treat them lightly. Anyway, we have Vanguard deployed our Infernal Castellan in front of the enemy army. This is the, well, I was going to say the short-range variant, and it is, as he has the Warmatic, but, you know, it's still pretty decent with the range buffs that he has, even if he's not a sniper. And the reason he was deployed here was partly to be able to cast his Amber Spear, and partly to be able to slow the enemy down with that Flash Bomb, which he does. The Amber Spear hits some of the Kroxigors, and by the looks of it knocked 2 of them out all the way back here, which made it worth it immediately. Summoning the Kadai Fireborn immediately upon the Razor Dawn hunting packs, which decided to fire upon our Castellan, as we don't want him to get riddled with, you know, spines and shrapnel. And it looks like Kroxigors are making their way uphill rather quickly. Unfortunately, our laborers have not yet arrived on the battlefield to block the enemy off, so the first unit of Kroxigors does make it towards one of the units of blunderbusses, and we move one of the Sorcerer Prophets, or one of the flyers, to block them off, while we reposition and continue firing with the rest of the blunderbusses. The Granite Guard are still firing, however. Frankly, with 73 melee defense with the Armor of Contempt, the Granite Guard and the other blunderbusses probably wouldn't get easily brought down by the Kroxigors, but they do have armor piercing and splash damage, so still gotta be wary of it. Won't need to be if we can get a few more volleys off like this, though. There we go, the blunderbusses fire into the backs of those poor Kroxies as the blunderbusses withdraw, and the Kroxies get distracted. The rest of the enemy army has, however, started to make its way uphill. We switch our magma cannon fire to the left flank, and we will send our Skullcrackers this way as well. There we go, they activate their move faster ability and will punt a few enemies, distract a few enemies, maim a few enemies as they do, and then move on to the next. All the while the magma cannons continue their fire. There we go. And the Skullcrackers will now try their best to move through the enemy lines. We're going to drop a couple of spells as they move as well onto whatever units blob up the most, and just cause havoc in the enemy back lines to prevent them from making their way uphill for as long as possible. Especially with the enemy army sort of not blobbed up in this particular case. They are sort of far away from each other. The cycle charging from a chariot unit like that can really disrupt the enemy formation and prevent them from moving properly, especially while they're always under fire from the magma cannons followed by the blunderbusses. Anyway, the laborers have arrived on field and are helping out on the right flank by, you know, their whole meat shield thing. And it looks like we've punted enough of the Kroxigors away from those blunderbusses to keep them safe and once more firing. The bounce power has shifted to 90% in our favor, and it looks like this one won't take nearly as much effort as the last fight did. And it looks like a decent amount of the enemy army is shattering at this point. Probably time to move the skull... I keep wanting to call them skull lanterns. The sky lanterns over the enemy army, which I didn't do earlier because of that presence of that Razor Dawn unit. I really don't want them to bring down, nearly destroy the unit of Sky Lanterns again. Anyway, looks like the last of the enemy are fighting now. The last of the Kroxagors break before the Blazing Beards of Bajorak and their blunderbuss support. The bounce bow shifts to 95% in our favor. The last of these Saurus are melting away and or breaking, and with that, it looks like the battle shifts fully in our favor, and the Wardens give up. There we go. It certainly took some effort to immediately go after these guys after Itza. Some extremely hard targets, possibly the hardest targets that we're likely to get, at the very least, in Lustria in this particular campaign. Well, actually, maybe the Lizardman, well, not Lizardman, the Rat, Shodel, is it? I think it's Shodel. The Rat capital is probably also going to be rather difficult to take if it's up to tier 5 at this point with all those warp bombs and stuff. But anyway, I think our laborers can eat a few warp bombs. Alright, there we go. Another solid victory, and the rest of the enemy are cleaned up. Credit where it's due once again to the Wardens of the Living Pools. Those were a set of magnificent fights, and some solid labor and cash out of it as well. Very nice. Now we will occupy the place as tower for obvious reasons, and that'll increase our conclave influence per turn. Ooh, free glittering scales. Yes, that will come in handy. In fact, I'm pretty sure I'm going to put that into Gordas' army. Target, okay, scroll of blast. No, we'll turn that into something more useful, and you no longer require that crown of command. You have nothing that will die to attrition if this guy should attack you next turn. So we should be fine to sit here. I'm a little bit still worried about Chakwa, but I don't want to rush anything else. So I think just in case, what we'll do is we had an overseer. I was gonna put the Sorcerer Prophet, the needful one. I don't want to spend 3k on a new one, though. These guys are also 3k, and I take it none of you can reach Chakwa? I mean, what do we have here? 4 units of Hobgob Archers. I mean, it should be more than sufficient to deal with whatever's in here. It's just that it probably will force us to fight it rather than auto-resolve it, but I guess we'll just have to do that. Fair enough. Because the auto-resolve will discount the... the map looks weird when it's in a different angle. Because the game will discount the fact that we have Blood and Fireborn available to us. But oh well. Oh well. Anyway, what else do we have to do this turn? After all that fighting, everything else is kind of fled my mind. We could upgrade a few more of those tribute shrines. We were inclined to upgrade a few more of these, including this place. Oh, right, save up to upgrade the battlements here. In order to... Alright, well, to also rush this, in order to upgrade everything here for much cheaper. Maybe get this up to tier 5 tower if we should.
I find your presence
You still don't want peace, but at least you're fighting the Chevalier now. I don't know what the heck Kemre wants. They hate each other, and you're not at war. You should really be inclined to attack the followers of Nagash, but who knows? Maybe we could get them to do it next turn. Funnily enough, they hold some decent territory. It's just that we have other fish to fry, or bigger fish to fry, or whatever, and don't want to go down there. Really love that industry specialization, though, but anyway. Let's see what else we've got to do this turn. So, Abnagg Hellbeard, you guys are still kicking around there. Wait, is either one of you in the settlement? You know what? One of you go into the settlement. Let's say Abnagg for now. Maybe you do have to be in the settlement to get the trait. Because they've been sitting there for a while, it seems, right? I feel like they have. Anyway, efficiency-wise, hey, we're up to 723 now. Pretty darn solid. The -10 at the Turtle Isles I don't like, and that's with the 20. And you could actually... We could counteract the negative in Amazonia by transferring 200 over, which I think maybe we'll want to do. So let's transfer 200 over to Amazonia, like so. Oh, did we do the... Oh, you know what? Let's do another 200. Oh, what? Okay, wait, 1 second. Amazonia, we'll do another... Yeah, no, we'll do the... Set an example here to get this climbing again. I pretty sure we didn't do these sacrifices for Sharnagren this turn, and I'm pretty sure we have to do that every turn. Just once, at least. In theory, sometimes twice if you have enough negative public order territories, but I think we are good for once. So we'll do the sacrifices for Sharnagren to reduce the labor loss per turn. For the turn, I'll try to remember to do it next turn as well. Hopefully I will. We shall see. It's a possibility. Possibility exists at the very least. 3 and 6 until the influx of labor as well. Alright, fair enough. Skip. Commandment available. Oh, right, in the new place. You can go for Masterful Architects, and then we'll wait on building anything else there. Our main recruitment territory is out here, so we probably won't make you into recruitment territory. And we gotta also, you know, level this place up to the max as well, so that we can then switch it to either billowing smokestacks or possibly even higher quotas. More armaments, more money, etc. Eventually, hopefully. Anyway, skip, and I'm hoping I'm not forgetting anything, because if I am, I guess it's too late now. End turn. Alright, constrict. Oh, constrictor. Oh, I'm stupid. I am slow. Wow. Oh, yes, I get it. Everybody got that except me. But anyway, for some reason, I thought it would be it was a play on conscript rather than constrictor. But anyway, oh, it'll kill off our little tiny laborer unit. You disgust me, game. That laborer unit's been around with us for a while. How much do we care about it, though? I feel like not enough. Not enough to... yeah, just let them die. You know what, I'm gonna quick save it just in case it also kills the war drum or something else, because sometimes the game's willing to do that. Why did you lose that? That was it. And the garrison died. I don't really care about the garrison. Wow, we got 228 labor out of that. Solid. Solid indeed. I'll take the money. Alright, and there we go. The Wardens of the Living Pools are destroyed. Will any of the other enemies take the opportunity to declare war on or move towards us while our armies are damaged? By the looks of it, no. Wounded Bruiser, no thank you. And, oh, we've already read this one. Leniency, hero recruitment cost minus 15%. Well, we were going to recruit some heroes, so that actually works out reasonably nicely for us. Any... of these guys, I don't see them, and immediately I'm gonna check join war. Oh, they declared war against the Harbinger of Decay, so now minus 65. Oh, come on, you're fighting the weakies, etc. You're really fighting the weakies. Okay, fine, fair enough. Fair enough. Wardens of the Living Pools, Biting Blade, another Scroll of Power, and hey, huh. See, he got that immediately upon us moving him into Ganaina. I mean, we can't be in the region. Maybe we have to be in the enemy settlement. Go figure. Okay, so the plague stuff doesn't really matter. The growth is completely useless to us because we don't have growth. Perfect vigor is completely useless to us because we always get perfect vigor on every lord due to campaigner or seasoned campaigner. This, however, we get a mini Mortis Engine effect, a rather weak one with a short range, but any Mortis Engine effect will rack up a ton of damage over time, and a minus 20 armor reduction in area. That's actually quite nice. So this will work nicely with the sundered attacks that are... okay, wait, give me a moment. Ready for duty is... oh yeah, now you're ready for duty. 1 second. I would like to see Hellforge, Manufactory... oh, we can't actually see what they are. Okay, fine. Melee Infantry. Yeah, Rune of Sundering enables sundering attacks on all of these guys, so that will combine nicely with the armor sundering. It would actually enable us to use things like the Sword and Board Infernal Guard and not have to worry about armor piercing as much, which would be rather nice. Considerably tankier units after all. Gotta try to remember that. Anyway, I think with that, however, this is probably going to be a decent place to call the episode. There is some admin to do and or figure... oh, you were really recruiting again? Oh, good. You will attack nonetheless. And Pyrrhic Victory, yeah, we're gonna have to manually fight this. Why does this army move so fast? What the heck was that? Is it because the army has fast movement speed? Why is no other army doing it? Huh, no, actually it's all of them. Oh, I might have accidentally clicked the thing between the end turns that makes these movements fast. Huh, I didn't even notice. Oh well, not that that matters all that much. Anyway, we will have to deal with this at the start of next episode, I think, because we certainly can't auto-resolve it, though pretty clear that we would win this. And there's a walled settlement, so we will have to work our way through it, but we've done so in the past, and I don't see any reason for us to fail to do so next time. Anyway, speaking of next time, I'm going to call it here, and next time we... Ooh, did these guys just lose a settlement to the lizards? Or to the rats, rather. Strength rank 49, strength rank 48. Oh, they're even. They're evenly deadlocked. Oh, that's nice. We might actually have to attack them both at the same time. All right, we'll see what happens after we take out the Slaaneshi. That'll be the goal for next episode. These guys will reposition and probably split into multiple armies while we get a little bit of recruiting going. And we take the several few turns to knock out the Slaaneshi of the Cursed Troop for good and prepare for our war with the lizards and the rats and the revival of the Spinous Sotek Dwarfs, as well as, once again, potentially these guys sailing over. We've had some very long turns, so even if they are sailing over, they wouldn't have had the time to do so as yet. But they'll get here eventually, so stay tuned for it. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.